at some point, if I'm the majors and I'm hearing about these elevated events, I'm starting to sit back and be like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Like, what am I if because of a number of factors, the PGA Tour can get 70 of the top 120 players together 14 times a year for their elevated events? What what are the majors other than just an elevated event on a really old famous course?
You make a good point there. I mean, obviously they would be, potentially full fields, right? With a bottom half would be the differentiator, so to speak. I mean, this is where I come down on this, elevated event thing is the tour just needs to embrace the two-tier system. They've created this de facto tiered thing, that Jack Nicklaus has spoken out against, that he doesn't like very much. But I think they just have to embrace it. This is something that my instructor and I talked about, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Is this is where it kind of ends up? Is these kind of two tours, right, playing together? I think you have these elevated events that are 70, call it 70, 72 man fields, and there's some, there's top 30 from the tour championship are in it, the PIP are in it, and those are obviously a lot of cross-reference guys, so that's maybe only 35 players, and then you have some other eligibility that goes down, but then you also have like some flow in and out of these events, right? You have top three from the previous week's tier two event gets into the next elevated event, or you have if you've won two events, two of the tier two events, you're exempt for the rest of the year into the elevated events. You create this eligibility, and you have to reduce the purses on the tier two events. You can't have these be $8-9 million purses as they will be in 2023, because the math won't work from a broadcast and a viewership and all that kind of stuff. But you could have incredible storytelling. Again, you have to go tell the stories. To Brian, to your point, if you're going to keep telling the same story, Justin Thomas beats Jordan Spieth, Victor Hovland beats Sam Burns, Patrick Cantley wins 5 times in a row, whatever. You have to be ready and available to tell the story from when the guy top threes or top fives or whatever the number is from the Valspar Championship into Bay Hill, into the next elevated event, and then goes on to win or goes on to finish top five, and that gets him in the following week's elevated event. So I really think the tour, to survive this moment in time, has to go ahead and embrace this kind of two-tiered system, figure out how to make it flow and work together in a way that is, available to the second tier player to be able to play their way into the top tier, even within the own season, kind of a la, the Corn Ferry Tour. If you win 3, you get onto the PGA Tour for the rest of the season. And you're going to create, actually some more opportunities to be a PGA Tour player, because these other, second tier events, I think, are, 132 or 144 man fields. So that brings some of the Corn Ferry Tour up. That brings some of maybe the DP World Tour players over. That, Japan, if you want to add 1 or 2 of those guys, whatever. And I just think that's how they evolve out of this, because I think that's where they end up 3 years from now. Assuming, let's just say that Live exists 3 years from now, this is where the tour ends up. And so if they just go ahead and do it now, they look like it's what they wanted to do. If they